Well, I hope you're all having a great time at the show today. Whether you've come for the presentation or you've just sat down to have a rest, that's fine either way. But I'm going to be going through about three different kitchen designs, general layouts, and possibilities how you can expand on those. I'm also going to be going through three different bathroom layouts and the possibilities that and the opportunities you have to do those. My name's Andrew. Obviously, as James said, I started off as an apprentice cabinet maker and progressed through the trade into tradesman and supervisor and all that sort of stuff. About 30 years ago, I started designing full-time kitchens and bathrooms and interiors. I do as well now. All right, so here we have the U-shaped kitchen layout. This layout was the most popular form of kitchen design, I guess you'd say, from about 1950 through to the year 2000. There's quite a bit of possibility here. Generally, this kitchen probably has a sink, cooktop, obviously a breakfast bar here. You'd have the fridge, hopefully through the middle here. Number of ways to renovate this. You could just use the room the way it is and sort of stick with more modern cabinets, or you could maybe if this doorway here goes through the dining room, maybe the dining room is not big enough. Maybe using the dining room for a home office or something like that. You could actually block that doorway there. Then you get much more benchtop space by running the benches over here. You could also have an island bar in the middle instead of having the breakfast bar. Run these benches through to the doorway that's probably down here. That'll give you a much more open flow of kitchen. There is a couple, if you are going to put an island bar into a kitchen like this, there is restrictions on walkways, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Another way you could renovate this room is to put a couple of double doors through, maybe to the front lounge room, and have the island bar, or even take out the entire wall if you really want open plan living. This kitchen here is a classic U-shaped kitchen. It's only a small one, and it's in an apartment I renovated in Sydney. But we still have good sized cooktop. We have a nice big 700 oven. We have plenty of space on either side of the cooktop. Plenty of space between the cooktop and the sink, and a great breakfast bar through here. The fridge and pantry are just past the oven there. The island kitchen, since the year 2000, this layout has been becoming more and more popular, particularly with the open plan living we have these days. There's a number of ways to plan an island bar kitchen. There's a few restrictions on island bar kitchens as well, but it's definitely probably 80% of homes have this style of kitchen these days, particularly in new designs. Things you can do with this kitchen, obvious ones is you can have cooktop and sink here. A lot of people don't like having the sink on the main section of the breakfast bar or the island. So you could also, if length permitting, you could also have sink and cooktop on the back wall and have the fridge over here. It gives you a good work zone triangle. Either way you go. Other things to do with this kitchen, maybe you don't have the back door here or door into another room. You can run the benches straight through. Quite often there'll be a walk-in pantry. I'll talk about walk-in pantries a little bit later. walk-in pantry. You might put a doorway through here into another room, and gives you extra storage space. That's what we'd call a butler's pantry, or a dry pantry. Another idea, you could have what I call a double-ended kitchen. You could have a scullery pantry down this end, which would be a separate room as well. But you wouldn't do either of those if it ultimately makes your space too small. This kitchen here is a island bar kitchen. The total length of the island bar is 6.5 metres long. So from here to here is 6.5 metres. We have cooktop. We have good space around the cooktop. We have about 1.5 metres between the cooktop and the sink. The sink is behind a privacy panel just to hide the mess and things sitting around the sink during the day. And then we have seating for 5 at the end there. So literally, they really don't need to go out of this space. On the back wall, obviously, we have the fridge, and we have wall ovens and microwaves and steam ovens down here, warmers. In the middle, we have the roller doors, but we have a bench for Thermomix and baking appliances and jug and toaster. So when the roller doors are down, everything's away. The roller doors are on a push button, so remote control, you can just lift them up anytime you like. Over the top, we've got over the top of the cooktop, we've got what we call a cassette range hood, and that's ducted out outside, so you get really good ventilation. L-shaped kitchen. The L-shaped kitchen is the basis of all original kitchen designs going back to the 1950s or the 1920s even. Obviously, you usually have a sink, stove, all in one stove, and fridge, and gives a nice simple design as long as the sizes and proportions are right. It can be a very workable space. It's really suited to smaller homes, units, granny flats, that style of thing. Gives you plenty of room if you want to combine spaces. It gives you plenty of room to have a family dining table. This one here is an L-shaped kitchen, small kitchen. Small kitchens don't have to be packed in with cupboards. They don't have to be utilities. Is quite a nice looking room. But here we have plenty of benchtop space between the sink and the cooktop, either side of the sink, either side of the cooktop. And through here we have about 1.5 metres of space for serving up. And just out of shot there's a fridge and a pantry. It was ideal for a young working couple in a 2-bedroom apartment here in Sydney. What to do? What to do in your kitchen? Consider your ventilation needs or range hoods. It's actually not compulsory to have a range hood, but it's the only way you're going to get smells out of the room. It's the only way you're going to have clean, fresh-smelling room. You also won't have grease accumulating on your cabinets, and it's the best thing to have. With the ventilation, a lot of people have recirculating range hoods. You should always try and make sure that the range hood is ducted outside through hard ducting, so the actual the ventilation, the smoke and the steam and smells can be outside the house as quickly as possible. Consider what you actually need for your benchtop space. I'll talk about benchtop space a little bit later, but it's benchtop space is king. You can't have too much benchtop space. Define and know your budget. A lot of people don't want to tell me the budget when they first start off with me. That's okay. If you can't tell me a budget, I'll tell you a budget, but it's something you have to have in your head and be aware of. Go see cooking demonstrations. Now you wouldn't go and see a cooking demonstration. You wouldn't go and buy a new car without taking it to a test drive. So if you're going to buy a new oven, you're going to spend $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 an oven. You want to go and see how it works. Same goes for the cooktop. Same goes for range hoods and ventilation. You want to be able to hear them, hear how noisy they are, and things like steam ovens that you may be new to. You want to find out how these work. So it's a good idea always to do a pre-purchase demonstration, and then after you've actually got the appliance, do a post-purchase purchase demonstration, because the modern ovens are like phones. It really takes a while to learn how to use them. This kitchen here is obviously has a nice view, but it has lots of benchtop space. We have it's only a small kitchen. It's about 15 square metres all up. We have lots of double bowl sink here, lots of benchtop space between the sink and the cooktop and either side of the cooktop. Benchtop space above the dishwasher, which is important. There's plenty of benchtop space in here. The fridge is over to this side. Nice long island bar in good proportion to the room. If you just look carefully here, you'll see a little outline there. That's for what we call a power tower. You just press the stone benchtop and the power points come out of the benchtop, so that you've always got power for charging or mixers or can openers or whatever appliance you need to use. What not to do? Don't put a fridge next to the wall, particularly a double door fridge. A single door fridge, probably the shelves won't be as deep, although the modern single door fridges, the shelves are quite deep. But a double door fridge, the shelves are very deep. When you open the door, if you can't open that door to 170 degrees, you won't be able to pull out the meat trays. You won't be able to pull out the veggie trays, all that sort of thing. So you must have at least 250 to 300 millimetres on either side of the fridge, so you can open the fridge and get easy access to all the items inside. Let's look at this. I'll talk about this before. 1200 millimetres. 1200 millimetres is considered the minimum space between the cooktop run and an iron bar or any parallel benches. So if you've got parallel benches, you want to be able to work inside the kitchen in about 1200 millimetres. Why? Because you're going to have the sink, you'll have the dishwasher, you'll have the oven, all opening into that space. You'll probably have drawers as well, so you want to be able to open these things opposing each other and still walk down the middle, or still just pass each other in the kitchen carrying trays, that sort of thing. Here, at the end of the island bar, what I call a walkway, it's not a working space, it's a walkway. You need a minimum of 900, probably even a metre is better, but if you're tight on space, a minimum of 900. I mean, your average doorway in your house will be 820, so why wouldn't you have at least 900 of walkway space? Avoid joints on island bars. Most stone materials and sheets are 3 metres long. Unless you're going to have a material like Staron or Corian, which is invisible jointing, so you don't end up having any joints in the kitchen, you need to sort of bear in mind those sheet sizes. You can go to a 5 or a 6 metre island bar, but when you get over that 3 metre, you've got to look for ways to hide the joints, particularly with natural stone and engineered stone. So you need to be able to hide the joints. You might have a timber bar running in front, which will help hide the joint. You might have the sink, you'll have the joints underneath the sink. Some sorts of things it's not possible. But you need to have inventive ways to take care of it. I mentioned not putting the fridge. All right, pantry. There's lots of suggestions up here with what to do and not to do in the pantry. But the main thing with the pantry is a walk-in pantry or a butler's pantry or a scullery or a walk-in pantry with a sink. And some people have an oven and cooktop. Is, do you really need it? Really think hard about really whether you actually need it. There's no point in you having a walk-in pantry and then making your main kitchen smaller. Very often you're much better off to have a larger main kitchen and have well-organised pantry space as part of that kitchen rather than hiding everything away. A lot of people will say to me, a lot of clients will say to me, I want to have a cooktop and dishwasher and sink in my walk-in pantry so I can do extra things in there. That's all very well, but you're going back to the 1950s and you're shutting down the open plan living lifestyle. You're going back to the 1950s and shutting yourself away from the rest of the family. So you really think hard whether you want a storage room or you want, whether you actually need that sort of extra area to work. Is a scullery pantry, obviously lots of shelves. It's important because most walk-in pantries don't have windows, so it's important to have good lighting. We've got lighting all around all the overhead cabinets there. This is full 180-degree benches. There's lots of space for storage underneath with pull-out shelves and roll-out shelves and things. So it's a very efficient use of space. You can bring the shopping home, put everything away, and vice versa when you go to get things out. This is a pantry with a sink. This is a computer-generated drawing I did for a client, specifically to show them, not to have a fridge next to the wall. You can probably get this door open, but you won't be able to pull out the meat trays or the veggie trays or other shelves. It also will make the kitchen the fridge very difficult for cleaning. This kitchen here, we'll talk about the work triangle. The work triangle was invented about 1953. In an American university. I did a study of 9 families. 9 families is not really representative of the population of the world, but it made so much sense at the time, so it's really stuck. In the 1950s, you only had an ice box if you were lucky. You had a single sink, and you had a freestanding stove. So the work triangle as a triangle. And an expansive thought for the kitchen made a lot of sense. These days I don't tend to talk about work triangles so much because there's so much more we have in kitchens. We have microwaves, we have second ovens, we have steamers, all items that obviously weren't around in the 1950s. This kitchen here, we talk about work triangle zones, so work zones more than an actual triangle. We have the storage facility in here, a pantry, walk-in pantry, a cold storage facility here, a fridge, storage next to the fridge. We have a scullery zone down here, and it's a double sink with 2 dishwashers on either side. 2 dishwashers. You can be loading one and unpacking the other. How many times have you thought, I've got to put this in the dishwasher, it's only 1 plate, but it's all, the dishwasher's all full of the old clean plates. You can't put it straight away. So 2 dishwashers is fantastic. Then we go on to the cooking zone. Obviously you've got two ovens, you've got multiple cooktops. Here we have the preparation zone with a small sink just for washing veggies or getting a glass of water. We have waste bins in here, so you can put the peelings away straight away. We have the microwave underneath the bench. I like to put microwaves underneath island bars so they're not really becoming a feature of the kitchen. You can't see it from the outside. This kitchen ultimately has also lots of benchtop space. Now, if you take away nothing from this presentation today, you must take away benchtop space is king. Benchtop space, you cannot have too much benchtop space. When deciding between a wall oven and an underbench oven, if you're short of benchtop space, go for the benchtop space. If you have a milestone birthday and you're getting caterers in, they don't care about what sort of ovens you've got or whether you've got a walk-in pantry or this, that and the other. All they want to know about is where's the benchtop space. Like that old movie, Show Me the Money. They just want, show me the benchtop space. All right, as you can see, this kitchen here has lots and lots of benchtop space. It's the same one I showed you before from a different angle. Either side of the stove here, you've got about 1.5 meters of space and nice 3 metre island. Plenty of space for bar, and there's the 2 dishwashers here with the cooktops on either side. This here is we're on to bathrooms, obviously. We've got the bathroom, the main bedroom through here. This is for a working professional couple who want to get ready at the same time, so we have double showers. We have a nice big wall niche for soaps and other things. We have a double vanity. These mirror doors slide aside so they can talk to each other in the morning through the open shelves. These basins, there's not a mirror here. That's the basins are actually facing each other. 2 heated towel rails on either side. The bathroom also has a heated floor. All right, layout for bathrooms. Now this is your typical 1950s bathroom here. This sort of style of bathroom was popular from the 1920s through to at least the year 2000. You can still get variations on this. The family bathroom layout, probably back in the day, the original bathroom would have had a shower here, maybe a bath here, or possibly a bath shower, and toilets and vanity along here. One idea to renovate this shape of room, if you have a bedroom next door, you might be able to pop the shower into the bedroom next door, still have a glass shower screen here. Give you room for a wardrobe through there. Throwing the bath or putting the bath across the room will make a small room look much wider. You can possibly get a bigger bath as well. Instead of having a 1.5 metre bath, you'll be able to fit a 1650 or a 1700 or an 1800 bath in, depending on the size of the room. So this is a really efficient use of this space, and it makes the room overall a lot larger than what it would otherwise be. This is the ensuite layout. This is one of my favourite ensuite layouts because there's no glass shower screen involved. We've got double doors here. This will be the master bedroom in here. We have wardrobe space. You open the double doors. You can see a really nicely designed vanity. You can really make a feature of a vanity. Obviously a double vanity with 2 basins, ample storage area, mirror shaving cabinets. I always put shaving cabinets in of some description. We've got double heated towel rails here, double robe hook for the shower. The shower is around the corner, so you don't need a glass shower screen. The wall niche is also around so you're not seeing that mess in the shower. A lot of people have shower shelves or wall niches, and you have your plastic bottles and shampoos and all that. We don't really want to be able to see it all the time. Obviously, the toilet is behind the wall, out of view, so it really makes a really nice, comfortable ensuite bathroom. Large bathroom or ensuite. These days, an ensuite is usually the biggest bathroom in the house. It should be too, right? Because the people paying for the house are usually using the master bedroom and the ensuite. So here we have a real feature luxury freestanding bath. Who wants a freestanding bath? Who wants a freestanding bath? Freestanding bath is a great option, but there's a few parameters for freestanding baths that I'll talk about, and you've got to bear them in mind. You have plenty of room around here, so you can clean around the freestanding bath. You have great storage here with the double vanity. We have a double shower. We also have a wall niche here, which is around the corner, so you're not seeing the mess across that back wall. Most important feature of this layout is the separate toilet, and the separate toilet is obviously around the corner, so somebody can be using the toilet, and somebody else can be using the vanity or even the bath. What to do? So, obviously, you have to consider your budget. Don't choose your taps without choosing your tiles first. I always like to choose the tiles. I usually do shopping with clients all in one morning. We go to the tile shop first, and then we go to the tap and PC shop, because you see mostly the tiles in the room, and the tiles will dominate the rest of the design. Okay. Plumbing restrictions is a big one, particularly in units and houses that are built on a fixed slab or an on-ground slab. It's very hard to move toilets in a unit. It's basically impossible. In an on-ground slab house, it's very expensive. It can be moved maybe up to a metre to move a toilet or a floor waste or a bath waste. Hot and cold water is easy. You can move that anywhere because that's all under pressure. But with the waste material, it has to go away on its own. Select a style that suits you before you engage the designer. It's always a good idea to have some idea as to what you'd like, so you can give them some sort of guide. Also, shower, it's always a debate. A lot of people would like to have a blade shower, and blade showers can work quite well under certain circumstances. I'll go over that shortly. One thing to be careful with an open shower is that you can get more body draft particularly from fan ventilation and just movement through the house. It won't feel as warm and cosy maybe in winter time. What not to do? Don't squeeze in things just because you think they can fit there. You've got to make sure there's enough room. So take this toilet, it's not one of my bathrooms, take this toilet, it's been squeezed into about a 650 space. It's just really not enough space there. This wall should never have been put there. The toilet should have been put somewhere else. Don't have steps in front of baths. That's gone. I still occasionally get people that want to suggest having a step in front of a bath. It makes getting out of the bath with wet, soapy feet, wet skin, pretty dangerous, particularly for an older person. If you have a freestanding bath, I'll talk about this in the next couple of slides. If you have a freestanding bath, make sure you've got enough space for it. This one here is an ensuite bathroom, quite a large ensuite bathroom. The entrance into the bedroom is down behind this wall here. But we have lots of storage space through here. Note that we have good spaces between the sinks, plenty of room to put items down, shavers or whatever that you need. Plenty of workspace there. We also have a nice large wall niche shelf for storage of items. Power points for charging phones and devices. There are also power points for toothbrushes inside the cabinet. So storage space is important. This one note too, you have a double shower here. So freestanding bath. It's important when you have a freestanding bath to try and keep the proportions of the room nice and generous. If you have a tight space, there's no point in trying to jam a freestanding bath because the room will just look small and look crowded. So a freestanding bath like this, you have lots of space around the back here to get a mop or a broom for cleaning. You'll mop up the floor. So it's also in a nice proportion to the room. We haven't got a wall jammed in here and a wall jammed in here. When you're having a freestanding bath, think about obviously the cleaning aspect that I've just been talking about. Also, you need to think about your budget and how the bathroom is done. Freestanding baths, particularly the feature baths, stone, they can be pretty weighty. So by the time you have the weight of the bath, you have the weight of the person, you have the weight of the bath water itself, it adds up to be a 300 to 400 kilo bath. So quite often, particularly in a second story bathroom, a timber frame house, you'd actually have to strengthen the substructure of the floor before you put some feature baths into the bathroom. Everyday pleasure. There is nothing more luxurious you can do for your bathroom than to have a heated floor. You walk into the bathroom cold winter's day, even in spring and autumn, the floor is warm. Your floor mats are drying out. You can have a shower. The floor mats will get wet. It doesn't matter because they'll dry out during the day. With towels, it'll dry out the towels during the day. It won't heat them. But if you really want hot towels, you can have a heated rack as well. But if I have the choice budget-wise, between a heated floor and a heated towel rack, I go for a heated towel rack every day a heated floor, every day of the year. Ventilation is something that a lot of people kind of have as an afterthought during the bathroom renovation. A lot of people have tastic lamps and that sort of thing. But whatever ventilation you have, particularly a ceiling fan, it must be ducted outside. You don't want to just put all the moisture into your ceiling onto your on your insulation. You don't want to short your lights out. or your wiring circuit with steam. So you must have it ducted outside. Now, when you have a smaller bathroom, you need to get the air into the room. So a good idea is to have some sort of vent, whether it be a decorative vent or a plain vent in the bottom half of your bathroom door, or just raise the bathroom door up about 25 millimetres so the air has a way of getting into the room. Particularly in winter time, a lot of people don't want to open the bathroom windows. A lot of modern bathrooms, don't actually have external windows anyway. So ventilation is something to consider. It's very important. Whether to have an open enclosure shower or a door enclosure shower. I'll demonstrate this best by probably going on to the next slide. Open enclosure shower here. You really need to have at least 1200 millimetres of shower glass space here, or if it's a wall, it needs to be 1200. You need to have a water bar across the floor so the water is not spilling out of the shower area. Another good idea is to always have your tap easily reachable so you can turn your tap on and not get wet by the hot water coming out. You can adjust the temperature before you actually get into the shower. This bathroom was actually a bathroom I did for an older couple. We took out the bath because they weren't going to use a bath anymore, and we made the bathroom possibly twice the size in floor space by taking out the bath, putting in a strip drain and a nice big shower enclosure. This is a door enclosure shower cubicle. This one's a nice big one. It's about 1200 by a metre. This is frameless glass here. Frameless glass, if the water comes onto the frameless glass directly, will quite often cause pooling or a water leak outside the bathroom. In a big shower enclosure like this, it's never going to be a problem because it's about 1200 away from the wall. But in a smaller shower situation, say an 800 by 800 or even 850 by 900 or something like that, you're probably better off to have an actual framed shower with a metal frame or what we call a perimeter frame, because they seal the water in better. So if there's any direct water going on to the joint in the glass, it won't end up outside the shower area on your bathroom floor. It's always an important consideration. Here we have the opposite end of the first slide I showed you on bathrooms. We have the double vanity there. The toilet was around the corner, so it can't be seen from the bedroom. I also did all this bedroom furniture in here, obviously to match the bathroom joinery. There's no end to the things that I can. It's not just kitchens and bathrooms. It's wardrobes and bedroom furniture and beds, bed heads, all to match the ensuite concept. That concludes the presentation today. Don't go away because we've got a question and answer time that James is going to ring. I have a home show special. If you come up to me afterwards and get my card, I'll give you 20% off of the bathroom design. I'll also be on the Impala stand over here for the next hour or so you can come and talk to me there at a later stage. Impala is my favourite kitchen company. I use them most of the time. So I'll hand it over to you now.
Hand it over to me. Please put your hands together for Andrew. We love a bit of a deal at the end, mate. It's like the The Easter show bag with the special. It's great for you if you are in the process of being able to renovate or look after a new kitchen and joinery. As Andrew mentioned, of course, he does the whole lot of joinery in the home. You talk through the whole process, mate. You have this very calm way of speaking. I'm like full on. I'm like Friday night and he's like a cool Sunday afternoon. When you're dealing with clients now, I wonder, you've been doing this for some time. Are clients now more savvy? Do the clients know more? Is their expectation higher? How's that process changed over the time?
Yeah, the expectation is very high. There's always been magazines to look at, and I find a lot of people will print off things from the internet to show you. But a lot of times, these fantastic bathrooms that you see all set up, particularly European bathroom shots, they're not really relatable to the space that the clients actually have available.
Sometimes a bit aspirational.
Absolutely, absolutely. You'll find, particularly with European and even American shots, they set up a false bathroom in a studio, and it's not really a real situation.
It's a big stylized space. I wonder if anyone has any questions for Andrew at all. He's definitely thrown a lot of information at you. You can see how calm he is through the whole process. Have we got?
I have 3 magazines and 3 magazines only to give away.
Oh, 2 questions.
To the best questions.
There
What
you
I
go.
think are the best questions.
Thank you, Andrew. My question is about kitchen. How popular is it garbage chute still these days on bench tops? And besides, obviously, hygiene and that, what's the disadvantages?
That was a good idea around in the 90s, early 2000s, as the garbage chute through the sink, or even through the bench. People don't like it so much now because, particularly the one through the sink, people didn't like cleaning the chute all the time. You might as well just open the door and put it straight in the bin. I've even struck people that didn't use it; they just went straight to the bin underneath. You can get lids for bench tops, which goes directly into a bin. That's not a bad one, but you're paying so much money for your bench top. It sits on your bench top permanently, so you might have a black bench top and it's got a stainless steel lid on it. It just doesn't look neat. It just doesn't look nice. And you've still got to clean around that as well.
The practicality of it, I think, sounds great. And it's sometimes something like that we see in commercial applications where there's, cooking 100 meals within an hour in a restaurant or something. But sometimes commercial kitchens have apprentice chefs to help clean them all and look after it all the time. Like open shelving is another one sometimes, all that dust, but it looks great. It's just not necessarily always functional.
That's right. It's great to have open plan, but you've got to have walls to put things against as well. So it's always a balance.
Please.
I just wanted to know, can you give us a price indication for the kitchen and the bathrooms that you showed us?
Sorry, I think...
Can we have sort of a price indication? Can you sort of talk? Is that is that an easy thing to do or hard?
No, it's quite easy, but depending on the materials, most you can get a kitchen renovation done from say $20,000, but it really depends on the materials.
I just got to go.
Which one? It was a while ago. I'm not sure which kitchen you meant. There's so many up there. Yeah.
Especially with a freestanding bath, what sort of a wall space should you have behind it, and what sort of space should you leave at the end of the bath? We've got a situation of putting a freestanding bath against a wall, and I'm just interested to know what ratio I should allow for the wall to be larger than the bath.
Yes, with a freestanding bath, you need at least 80 millimetres of space behind the bath so you can get the broom around it, and on each end I was trying to allow a minimum of 300 space. So it just looks in proportion to the room and not jammed in. Just depending on whether the window's in the centre of the room, you might have 500 on one side and 300 on the other side. It's nice to balance these things up, but sometimes you can't always do that. But a minimum of 300.
Got another question?
Are there any special considerations if you're putting a skylight in a bathroom?
For a spa bath?
Skylight.
Skylight. Not really. With a skylight, I had in one of my own houses, I had a skylight in the bathroom, a nice big skylight. From memory, it was about 1200 by 600, but I made sure it was an opening skylight, not a fixed one. Particularly certain times of year, it was a really big help. That bathroom didn't have a window, which is why I had a skylight. It was a really big help just to be able to open the skylight. You can have remote controls, or you can have the arms, and just an inch makes all the difference as far as getting steam and out of the bathroom.
Great if you've got a teenage daughter who has like excessively long showers and you've got to get all that steam out. Hope Francesca, my daughter's listening.
That's
Here's
right.
another question.
I'd like to get your thoughts on a smaller sink in the island of a kitchen, particularly when the island is smaller. So we're thinking of a 2 metre long island. Do you think it's worth it or not worth it? And what are the
I think a secondary sink on the islands is a really good idea, particularly for preparation. You're doing preparation, cutting up veggies, peeling. Very often that sink can face out into the room, so you can be watching TV as well. But you obviously wouldn't have a small sink as a scullery area. You have your scullery area on the back wall or on the side wall. It's good to give an extra sink like that some purpose. So if you're going to have a water filter, for example, or a water filter tap, or a dual purpose water filter and tap, it's also a good use of that space.
I've got one last question, then I might ask you to pop up the back so you can keep answering all of these questions. Thanks so much.
I've used my
Thank
time, oh, nearly.
Yeah, my last question. Okay, I'm thinking about renovating my apartment. It's
Yeah.
an open kitchen, but you're talking about you have to know your budget. How do I know my budget? How much I expected? Because I got no idea.
How do you know your budget? Well, it's what you can justify spending. I've been to very wealthy people's houses, and they can't justify spending more than $50,000 on the kitchen. That's for everything, cabinets, benchtops, appliances, all that sort of stuff. And I've been to what you'd think were not so wealthy suburbs, and they've spent $120,000 on the kitchen. It's basically how much you love your kitchen and how much impact you want to make.
I think sometimes a question like that is going to be determined on how much you're wanting to change within the floor plan too. And apartments can be interesting for plumbing and access and trades, but Andrew's probably going to pop back around after this presentation to Impala, where you come and see the showroom, so maybe you can have a chat with more qualification of that sort of question. I do thank you all for being here. I ask you to put your hands together for Andrew Wright. As you can see, he's a gentleman in the industry. We're lucky to have him. He's designed the kitchens behind me, Impala kitchens, that he's connected with. So have a look through those, and hopefully you've got some great design inspo. He is also, of course, a member of KBDi, the Kitchen Bathroom Design Institute. He's got some flyers with his details, and also you can find the portal there for all the other designers and the contacts through the KBDi. We'll be coming back for the next presentation at 3 o'clock very soon with Tim Whiteman. Thanks so much for being part of today's home show.
Thanks very
mate.
much. Thank you.